We have a quorum.
I didn't see you, Jared. I'm sorry. Okay. It is February 19th at 10:31. We're going to start the Kane County Agriculture Committee. Can you call roll, please?
Allen, Leonard, Hennessis,
Hennessis here.
Sanchez,
Sanchez present.
Williams, Roth,
Roth is here.
Doobie.
Juby's here. Did you have any remote attendance requests? Okay, and I know Ms. Allen is on her way, so we will welcome her when she comes in. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from January 22nd, 2026?
Sanchez. Oh, go for it.
Okay, Pennisys will move for unanimous consent of approval of minutes for January 22nd, 2026.
Okay, no objections. Moving forward. Brings us to public comment. We have Ken Shepro, our Kane County local historian. Mr. Shepro, welcome.
Actually, if the committee would permit, I will
Go ahead, you can share.
speak from here. Okay. Good morning. I was here to talk briefly. I don't have a really detailed semi-quincentennial minute, but on this date in 1776, George Washington wrote to the President of Congress, John Hancock, complaining about the need for action against Lord Dunmore, who was the previous colonial governor of Virginia, who was continuing to recruit African-American runaway slaves for his regiment. And General Washington was very concerned about the effect that that would have on landowners in Virginia. And in fact, I will have something more detailed about Lord Dunmore's regiment. Eventually, one of the outcomes of that whole issue was that the Continental Congress reversed its initial position that they would not allow Black soldiers to serve in any of the revolutionary forces. And then they decided maybe it would be a better idea, since the British were capitalizing on this, to recruit or induce slaves in the southern colonies to run away and be free, that maybe they better look at that issue as well. So that was an interesting thing. There was a little bit on that in the Burns Revolutionary War, but it was something that I remember I didn't know really anything about that. And if you went to Colonial Williamsburg, as I did as a child, Lord Dunmore was portrayed as this sort of awful man that was making war on his former residents in Virginia by attacking them. So it just goes to show you that Churchill was right when he said that sometimes, history will be kind to me, for I shall write it. So whoever writes it, and I think he also said history is written by the victors. I also want to just talk about a couple quickly, some recent acquisitions that I have made. One of them, again for Black History Month, is a publication called Kane County, Illinois, African American Civil War Vets, of which there are many. A book by Raleigh Sutton, and I know the Geneva Historical Society has been working on. I think they have a poster that they are either have or worked on. And there are a surprising number of African American veterans that lived in Kane County, one of whom at least was a member of the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry. And if you saw the movie Glory, that was that regiment. And time has expired. So
Said the historian.
Shocking.
yes, well, another great volume that is about 500 pages long is called Refueling the Past, which is a history by a local historian of service stations in Batavia, Geneva, and St. Charles. And it is crammed with photographs, anecdotes of all of the amazing number of service stations that have been in those three communities since the early 20th century. and is available for purchase at Townhouse Books, but now I have a copy.
Wonderful.
It's St. Charles on the cover there.
Yes.
Yeah, this is, yes, I believe that is what's now the historical
Yeah.
museum that was formerly a gas station. So lots of interesting things. And last, if the chair will indulge me,
Why not?
I acquired
Choice.
to something that is entitled, it's the Land Atlas and Plat Book of Kane County from 1986. And it is an atlas of every township showing the farms and ownership of each of the farms. And I noticed that inside there, under Elgin Township, are multiple properties that say Kenyon. So perhaps he could speak to that at some point. There were
Hey, we
apparently
got
a
that.
lot of different Kenyons.
Yeah,
So
Well,
thank you.
you're very welcome. Okay. Not going into the genealogy of the Kenyon family in King County. Moving to our partners. We have our King County Farm Bureau update. Bill, are you and Mike doing that for us, or I don't see Steve here. I wonder if my colorful language prevented him from being here today.
Well, he said it was a little upsetting.
It was pretty bad. I was letting the F-bombs drop at the thing. Sorry.
Yes, I'm Bill Collins. I'm a Farm Bureau Director and I'm giving Steve's report. And so we will start out with the shopping spree that we just had on Monday. And thank you for your participation and your hard work at achieving the $1,862 and some odd cents. Your food pantry. And then we also, recognize Jeff Walters for his participation, and he was right at $1,750. And so everybody gained. We got a lot of promotion from the Jewel and from the Kane County, from the food pantries and from the Illinois Food Bank. So I think everybody wins. So that's
But
our
you're the
goal.
winner.
And
That
so,
was the winner. Yeah.
and now the promotions will keep on going and keep it alive and try and promote more of the public to get participated into these food pantries and food banks, which is our goal. Number two he's got is we have 53 scholarship applications right now that we're reviewing. Typically, we give out somewhere between 24 and 30. I think there's 2 more new ones this year that people have offered to the Farm Bureau to give out. What else do we have here? We had 3 of our directors go down to the Illinois Governor Affair. It's the local government leadership conference in Springfield. That was Tuesday and Wednesday. And it's has the local government priorities. And I handed out the link program that you see in front of you, which, they discuss that with our reps and stuff and legislators. And if you go on the back page, it thanks us as a county farm bureau for having
I'll show
the
you.
county
Yeah,
as a ag
For me?
partner, Allies in Agriculture. The memorandum you guys did last year, that's pretty much like a 2-year commitment. But you can see the map. The green is the counties in Illinois that have ag allies. The other is the Touch a Tractor is the 10th and 11th and 12th of April. We hope everyone can come out and enjoy the lawn with the equipment and learn more about agriculture and promote it through the county. The other that I have is kind of more 4-H and U of I. The pork chop dinner was usually on the same day as the Touch a Tractor, but this year it's a week later. It's April 18th. If anybody needs tickets for it or wants to sponsor something, they can contact the extension office. And the other, last but not least, is we want to thank you for promoting Government Day. It's March 10th, and they'll be here on March 10th at the board meeting and follow board members. But we really like the participation from the county in promoting our youth in Kane County.
We love having the kids here.
Yep.
Okay, I know Mr. Roth had a question.
Just a comment, Roth here. I want to thank, we had 6 board members show up to help Team Juby. So thank you for all of those that showed up.
6 board members who heard my foul language.
Actually, I did not hear it
Okay.
because we
They
were
was-
too
they-
busy. We were too busy helping you.
You're too busy picking things up off the floor that flew over my cart.
I can honestly say you had a lot less than I did
Thank
last
you.
year.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? No, I want to thank everybody who was there. It was a blast. And I don't know if everybody knows why the Farm Bureau holds it on that particular day, but that is how long it takes for the average person, how many days they have to work to have food for a year. So you have to work, what day was it? The 17th? So from January 1st to February 17th, February 16th? Okay, 16th was how long it takes the average family to work to collect enough money for a year's worth of food. So super, super cool. We were really glad to be part of it. And I appreciate the work that we got from the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry. And Jeff Walter was amazing with his team for his Alburn Food Pantry. And I would just like to throw the plug in there that Marie Wilkinson offered the Alburn Food Pantry anything that they needed. If there was a certain type of food that or product that they didn't have, they opened up their doors. So truly all of us working together to help feed our community. So thank you to all of our partners for that.
Can
All
I
right.
just throw something in there? too?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it was great fun and we were very humbled to, be there. But one of the things, I took the stuff back and we twice a month, take stuff over to the veterans office at their VNA clinic. And the veterans, this isn't the healthy stuff, but they love things like, anyway, no, they love, Dinty Moore beef stew and Spam and sardines and all that. And so we made sure that we got that. And when I took a whole box of that stuff back, a huge box, and it was just those kind of things, the guy who delivers, I thought he was going to cry. He was like, oh, it's the big one, because he was just so, just pleased that we got the stuff that, the veterans really are looking for. And that's what I like about our whole network of our smaller pantries is like Elburn has different needs, Aurora has different needs, the veterans have needs. And so that's why one of the things we all try to work together, because I might have something that Elburn needs for their population, vice versa. So it all works out good because it really takes us all, to help people.
I do have to give thanks to my smoked mackerel whisperer who is on my shoulder telling me to grab all of this, the fish and the sardines and things that I didn't even know we had. I didn't even know these things were sold in pantries. She's like, or in Jewel. And she's like, grab those. So we have caviar in there. We had mackerel. We had sardines. We had anything that could be something that someone might like. We grabbed 2 of. So I appreciate sitting on my shoulder and telling me what to grab. So thank you. All right.
Madam Chair said I was bossy.
For bossy?
Yeah.
I said that?
No, Madam Chair said
Oh,
that.
okay.
And I said thank you. I said, thank you.
Was actually thrilled.
She
with
was
it.
a lot nicer this year than to the last year.
Saw the prep we did running through the dry runs. So, okay, moving on to Northern Illinois Food Bank, who was also at our wonderful event with your delightful, was it your son? It was your son that was there, right? It was your son. Come on up. We would love an update. We would love to know how much he enjoyed watching adults run through the grocery store and do all the things he's told not to do, which is grab food and throw it into the cart. So anyway, all right, Rob.
He did enjoy it.
Good night.
Yeah, he likes coming to work with me. So we went to my office after and he got to run around and yeah, he likes coming. So yeah, he had a good time. I don't have too much to update really. I just want to say thank you for the fun shopping spree. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't have too much.
Okay, that's fine. We actually have to thank the Farm Bureau because they're the ones who cut the check, even though my name's on the bottom, that did not come out of my bank. So the Farm Bureau Foundation, so please extend all of
Thank
our
you, Farm Bureau.
heartfelt thanks for that. So, okay, well, it's a good thing you don't have an update because it means the bottom hasn't fallen out of your operations, right?
No, we're still
Okay.
doing, we're doing great.
All righty, great. Thank you. Thank you
Thank-
for coming up.
thank you.
Kat, that, what?
You didn't see the fine print. You have to pay for everything that was dropped.
Yeah, they tried to get me to pay for lunch. It didn't work either. Okay. And I'm not paying for everything that was dropped or smushed or stepped on, but, Kat, here we
Okay.
go. Arcane DePage Soil and Water Conservation District update.
Thank you for having us in. If I'd have known that we were going to have spring, I would have chosen a different picture for the cover here. Right? Yeah, I know. Okay, let's start with NRIs. So this is our NRIs for January. Obviously much fewer, the weather being a critical factor there. 104 acres in total so far that we have touched one solar program. Okay, I did want to bring this. Not sure if you saw this, but just wanted to bring it to the attention. This is currently on the docket downstate, and they're reviewing the viability of putting something forward. I found the definition of prime farmland of particular interest, land that is the best combination of physical and chemical characteristics for the production of food and other related uses. Is that what you guys do? Like, it doesn't feel right, but
Do
that's.
do you
how
have
they
a bill
chose to
number on
define it.
that?
It does not, I believe it does not have a designation yet.
Okay, because that's important for us.
109th
right?
Congress,
That's-
Bill 1080,
1080?
is that right? Then
I don't know,
Congress.
I can't see where you are.
Down at the bottom, the link. The link will take you straight there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Let's see. Okay. I just wanted to throw this out there. Feedback that we get from producers on a constant basis, and Matt and I have talked about this, processing facilities needed. Just wanted to put that out there. We're here open for discussion if anybody wants to collaborate. Going back through some things that are going on, Partners for Conservation, the PFC program through the IDOA application is open right now. Ranking will be in March. This is the 75% cost share for those practices that you see there. Contacting us would be the way for farmers to move forward. FSA applications are still open through April 30th for their disaster program. RCPP will be open soon. We do not have a date at this time, so the iCover. We'll keep you posted on when that moves forward. The CPRG is closed. We did get 10 Kane County applicants. They're being notified, and we'll see how that moves forward. Fall covers for spring savings closed, approved applicants. There'd been some question about this at the last meeting, what the $5 per acre insurance premium discount looked like. So in the box there, I did provide a little bit of background. So typically that represents 15 to 40% of the farmers paid out of pocket premium. Difference obviously by crop. So I hope that answers some of the questions that came up last time. Okay, cool. Regenerative Ag Program, the applications are closed for that. It's under ranking review right now in the NRCS office. We're still at 3 weatherization redemptions, I guess. We did have our celebration of Kane County Farms. We had 30 people attended. About half of them were producers. Jim Studi did speak. It was a tremendous presentation, which I can share out if y'all would like the PDFs of that presentation. It was great. March 4th, we're having a mushroom workshop. It is full. I know. I put this slide in here when it was still open, pull strings, pull strings,
Or
pull
could we, like,
mushrooms.
throw our weight around or something and say, well, you know. Okay, fine.
I can put you on the wait list. I mean, we have a capacity in the space issue. Yeah, we got 43 in a 40 room. So we're struggling there, but there might be some people who can't come. So let's see here. Okay, well water testing coming up. The kits will be available for purchase that first week of March, with samples to be collected on March 9th. I know that the announcement just came out in Elburn regarding the PFAS in their water there. We are not offering PFAS samples. It is a tough thing to find that someone does it. It's very expensive and there's no remediation guidelines really on how to remove the PFAS. So it's a tough space to be in right now. We're trying to find some resources for the folks out of Elburn because the messages have begun. Fish sale. If you have a pond on your property, we have fish that are coming up for sale. That is, order forms are up on our site. Those are the different fish that we have available. Yes,
Question, is that price per fish or per bag?
it is per bag for the minnows and per fish for the rest of the critters,
Thank you.
but they all come in bags. It is the most bizarre. A truck drives up and they fish in the truck and fill your bag and hand it to you. It's really weird. It's actually kind of fun to watch. Okay, so election day was February 10th, 3 seats. We do have a new board elect. So the officers will be selected at our March meeting. On our board right now, Tom Conan, Maggie Solis, Bill Pauling, George, oh my God, Gerard Fabrizius, and Dr. Karen Stewart. So that is our new board elect, starting March 1st. What do I have here? Is that me? That's not me. Okay. A couple things that I just wanted to add. Next Tuesday is Soil and Water Conservation District Advocacy Day in Springfield. So if you're going to be down in Springfield, please put in a good word. We also, American Farmland Trust is having us sit on a panel for their risk management workshop for vegetable producers. So I have information on that. A great program coming up. It is on March 27th at Rosewood Farm. It's going to be a kind of an all-day event. We had a tremendous conversation with Senator Ventura over Zoom, the chair and the vice chair and I, and it was a wonderful, very supportive conversation. She's very enthusiastic about agriculture. Her district covers us into DuPage County. It's not really a Kane thing, but nonetheless, she's a very big advocate. And we invited her, again, American Farmland Trust is going to be hosting a tour of Kane County agriculture in June. And this will be for legislators only. So we're helping them coordinate the stops that we're going to be making to showcase. They're actually going farm to faucet for their theme. So they're looking at what happens with water in the agricultural scene. So one of our last stops will be Fox Metro. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Alan here. Are we legislators if there's extra room on the bus?
We can see where we end up. Yeah, we
Okay.
can definitely have you.
There's some of us who might want to do that.
Okay.
And can I ask you to go back? Okay, I'm trying. There we go. Can I ask you to go back to the information about whether our best farmland is being turned into solar fields yet?
That is the, okay. The act, the proposed act, or whether we are turning our farmland into solar.
Us, yes.
That assessment is very difficult to make. What is the best farmland, right? As Sarah E, I'm sure can speak to is what is that? Is farmland being turned into solar? We do have projects that are coming through and doing that.
Of course.
There's different thoughts about whether that's a good or a bad thing. Solar is obviously something that we're striving towards as a state.
Yeah.
It also gives the land an opportunity perhaps to rest. So there's that view. And then there's also the view of taking the land out of production and what that's going to mean. So there's a couple different ways to look at it.
I think we all realize that farmland for farmers is their 401ks.
Absolutely.
And one of the reasons that the Forest Preserve got so active up in the Dundee area, Emily Schweitzer was someone who saw her neighbors selling off their land.
Mhm.
And why wouldn't they, for heaven's sakes, to development for good prices? And she just was, I think, horrified that all of this was going to be lost.
Mm.
So she did her property to the Forest Preserve through a trust where she lived on the property her entire life. but the property had been given to the forest preserve. So she got some tax benefits, obviously. And then once she passed, that came into the forest preserve, and it just has wonderful amenities, like the dogs get to roam free, and a bunch of it has been turned into prairie and so on. And I also understand that there are people who own farmland, and for them, a 20 or 25 or 30-year lease is a much safer way for them to use their land than to hope that they will get sunshine and water at the right times. So I guess in my heart of hearts, I'm just hoping that what we consider to be our most valuable farmland, that which is currently in our farmland protection program, and that maybe some of the others that are in that area will just consider farming to be more valuable than solar. No offense to solar.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if what you were seeing.
Yeah.
Deb, I think I can address a little bit of that, we have flagged this particular, I didn't know the bill number. We flagged this particular one for our legislative committee to follow, because Kane County is full of some of the highest productivity land in Illinois. And we feel that we actually qualify for this, which would allow us to have clawback some local control that we may be able to get after the June bill comes in effect, which removes any ability we have for citing. So we're very excited about this. And I know that you guys are for this, correct? I'm pretty sure the Farm Bureau have you guys?
The Illinois Farm Bureau opposes taking productive farmland out of production.
Okay, great. So we're kind of all on the same, maybe for completely different reasons, but we will be lobbying very heavily to protect our soils and to protect local control. Because I don't know if you guys know, when that law goes into effect in June, we have no ability whatsoever. And it doesn't matter what our county wants. It doesn't matter what our people want. It doesn't matter anything. And we need to claw that back. And if we do that one bill at a time, we will be there. So any way we can help with that, let us know, and we will keep you posted on our efforts.
Awesome.
Okay. Any other questions? Bill?
This is a comment. Last year I had recommended in energy, we have a lot of gravel pits throughout the county. And those are perfect for solar because they already have the buffer to hide it. The soil's already ruined and they already have electricity going in to run the equipment.
That would be a different bill though.
I
Yeah,
understand.
but you wouldn't tag it on this.
No,
because
I'm
you
just
wanna
saying
avoid
as a
it. Yeah.
future, that's where we should be
Right.
building. No?
So maybe talk to Michelle,
Well, and it-
legislative, and ask her if she can find a sponsor who will do that. And then we can try to run something concurrently with it to actually take non-productive land and make it productive.
And I did bring it up in one of our reviews where the lobbyists were talking at one of the board meetings. And I forget which lobbies. He said, that's a good idea.
Well, yes, but
But we got to move forward. So I'll
But we've
talk to,
also been talking about that with our lobbyists since we hired our lobbyists.
I know.
So they know, but it is a good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we can't muddy a bill with something else.
and I'm
So-
not looking for that at all.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Thank you. Oh, we get to go to presentation. Hey, presentations, who do I do Matt or do I do? Okay, so we're gonna do Ellen, you don't want to introduce her? Okay.
Hi, friends.
Yeah, introduce her.
Good morning, Matt Tansley. We have our consultant here today, Ellen Camps. She has been working with us on a number of projects, including the Farmer Grant Program. She was also working on the pollinator guide for growers. So she is coming in today to give an update on her projects.
Thanks, Matt. Hi, everyone. Happy Lunar New Year, Year of the Horse. Not a good thing, Fire Horse. Good things, and yes. So I titled this presentation Agriculture as a Driver for Economic Development, just to share the lens that I have as I move through these projects and as we project what the future holds. And that comes from the strategic plan for economic development. There's a lot of different references on farm revenue and land viability, the reduction of development and pressure on farmland, as well as positioning Kane County as the Midwest leader in next-gen ag and food systems. So this has been my North Star in the programs that I've been developing. So I'm going to go over quickly just 7 takeaways from the Food and Farm Resiliency Grant that I worked with under Mr. Van Kerkhoff's team and Ms. Feinstock's team. And this is the program evaluation. So this involved surveys that went out to all farmers who participated in the grant, 19 farmers. We had 100% response rate, which was really great. But what the survey showed us, one of the takeaways is that it enabled long-term investment. So even when the respondents said that it didn't, I think there were 2 that said it didn't enable long-term investment, it still covered seed, labor, certifications, or cash flow. So when they get money in, it goes back into the pot. They're able to do other things. And so you'll have a report within the next month that shows all of the takeaways, but this is the first. Across all farm sizes and production types, land access, on-farm infrastructure, and labor are the dominant constraints to farm viability for the next 3 to 5 years. So they mentioned often short-term leases prevent them from perennial investment. How much can you help your soil if you have a short-term lease and you don't know if you're going to be there the next year? Infrastructure, so many farms mentioned on-farm wash pack facilities, on-farm cold storage, barn renovations, and on-farm bridges, for instance. Labor availability, of course, especially during the day, seasonal and skilled labor, because all of these farms that received funding were food and veg. So it's very skilled labor. It's very unique in diversified vegetable production. The grants directly supported business diversification and revenue resilience. So many added value-added products, on-farm markets, invested in livestock and processing equipment, and expanded sales channels and market access. So while they said that these were the top elements that they used the funds for, they still need more reliable year-round income. We have seasons, as we know, in Illinois, where we're more of a March to November for fruit and veg. We have some opportunities to store food and do the value-added products that allows us to season extend, but we have what we have in Zone 5A and 5B in Kane County. Also, labor opportunities increased as a result of the grant. So 47% of grants went to investing in labor. And we have at least 26 people that got new jobs and new positions on farms from these grants. So really exciting. And, in times where we're learning to trust institutions, this program had such a high satisfaction rate. People mentioned trust. They mentioned being understood, advocated for, and supported. And, I took this project really seriously as an extension of you all, Mr. Van Kerkhoff's team, Ms. Feinstock's team, and overall, they said really nice things about the facilitation and the project management. So moving on to the second project, the goal of the Planting with Pollinators grant was to create a resource for cross-sector land managers, financial and educational tools for Kane County, and a springboard board for future farm practices, policies, and fundraisers. So it's a conversation piece. So taking those parameters, I created the Planting with Pollinators calendar. This was a diverse set of resources, and getting everyone in the room to be on one document in agreement about pollinator policy was really exciting. It's interactive. You'll have it soon. Really excited about it. Lots of different partners. Kane County Farm Bureau, really excited to have the championing of Mr. Steve Arnold, who helped us facilitate a grant from the Illinois Farm Bureau to get these printed, but as well as the Forest Preserve, Fox Valley Beekeepers Association, Illinois Extension, Kane DuPage Soil and Water Conservation, and it all, like, throughout the year, you will see Kane County relevant events. So you'll know when the county fair is happening. All right, thanks so much. Any questions?
I just want to make one comment before I call on Ms. Allen. Yes, in the month of February, we had the entire 4 seasons of the year.
Yeah.
So just saying, because we're going to get slammed with winter again. Okay, Ms. Allen.
Thank you.
Ellen, I just wanted to say that you're building on an amazing foundation that Janice Hill got started. I tell the story about how government shows up at your doorstep and says, "Hi, I'm here to help you," and people slam that door in your face as quickly as they can. And Janice made all kinds of inroads with our agriculture community. I think people are willing to applaud her efforts, and then here you are following up, building. All we're trying to do here is be trustworthy, to be people who can be trusted, and to deliver what we say we will. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, I want to thank you for the amazing job. And I want to say that we are truly lucky that we have you and Janice and all of our partners and all of this team, because we are really doing positive things that are moving agriculture forward in Kane County. And I am super excited to be head of the committee that's watching this happen. So thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Mark.
Thank you, Ellen. I just wanted to also thank Suzanne Vonstock and the ARPA team for working and processing the payments that went out to reimburse the farmers for this. And also Matt Tansley for personally chasing down a number of farmers to help them through that process of becoming vendors with the county and getting the payments. But another benefit of this whole effort was now we have 19 farms that are basically grant ready to apply for additional funds, because they've taken those types of steps that they need to be able to apply for USDA or Illinois agriculture grants. So it's just going to continue to multiply the effort that was done and provided to them, and the fact that it was a great experience for the farmers is a huge plus and a credit to Ellen and Matt's work. So thank you.
Thanks.
We have a great team. All righty. That brings us up to, oh, sorry, Matt, you can announce it.
I feel like Janice needs an introduction. So Janice has a few updates on the Navigator program. This is the program to support farm transitions and supporting farm ownership. So I'll turn it over to Janice.
Thank you. Thank you. So happy to be here with my people, the ag committee, the staff, the partners. Yeah, it's just one of my favorite places. And I've just come back from Land Transfer Navigator training, which is I'm part of a 4-year cohort of people doing the same kind of work that I'm doing across the country. Really helpful to see what's happening in Alaska, Hawaii, the Northeast, the South, how we're all in a very similar situation, but at the same time, very different in terms of what's happening locally. So some of the whole goal of the program, which is paid for by NRCS, is to get us all on the same page, share experiences and stories, and then come back and customize. So the great timing with all of this is the fact that we're at our 25th anniversary of the ordinance 0167, creating the Farmland Protection Program. And so we're able to place that anniversary in light of all the other activities that have been spinning for a while. This is not new. Everything I'm going to talk about today has already been budgeted, in process, might even be in procurement. So there's no action that is being requested of the committee today, just kind of learning about all of this and some of my work in context with everything that you've already heard today. Of course, we're going to have a lot of celebration activities. Siri and I've already talked about some things that we want to do. We'll be celebrating the people involved with the program, the farmers, the elected officials that create the policy that's essential for all this work, the stories, the data, federal funding. But we're also going to look at what did we get from that in the last 25 years? What did we learn? What can we document in terms of benefits, both the economic and the environmental? And then we'll use that to build the next 25 years. But of course, all this is happening while we're doing other regular activities. So it is kind of like double duty, but we're happy to do it. This topic is something you were just talking about, which is what sets us apart here in Kane County from every place else. Well, there are several things. Some of it has to do with the location. We are, again, the only county-based program in farmland protection in the Corn Belt. So we always have everybody watching us from the national point of view. It's kind of funny but when I go to the national gatherings, they want to know what we're doing and how we're going about doing it, what they can share. There are other programs that have been around much longer. So we're learning, but at the same time, also sharing out. Our location within the Great Lakes and the fact that in Illinois, we have the highest concentration of prime farmland. Now I'm going to remind you that that definition of prime farmland is one that NRCS developed that is based on categories of soil that create this eco environment of prime soil. We also have soils of statewide importance. There is a separate category of productivity, and I do want to dig into that a little bit later, not in this presentation, because that productivity is based on corn and soy production only. And as we become more diverse in terms of what we grow, we probably will be broadening the lens on that. Now, I know there's a study underway with the Delta Institute where they're looking at some of the value of soil, and you'll be hearing more about that over time. But when it comes to the baseline of the evaluation of NRCS, this is what they're looking for. And that's why they've been able to invest in us, and we've been able to capture all this money in the last 25 years. Two things: we have the soils and we have the local policy ordinance. So without 0167, which builds upon all of Kane County's plans and policies going back, we wouldn't be in the position that we would be to be able to be eligible to apply. And of course, they're also looking at the public benefits, the environmental, historic preservation, wildlife, open spaces, part of that. And the fact that the benefit is with the ag easements, which is what this program, the ag easement program is about, is keeping ownership in local hands, private hands on the tax rolls and in production. So these are the most recent NRCS priorities published. Of course, number one is the preservation of agricultural land. So we're right there. Number 5, I think, is moving up in terms of their policies, both stated, and then I think you're going to see this in the new farm bill, which it looks like we might actually get a 2026 farm bill. The House has released a draft version that's under consideration and everybody's kind of digging into it right now. But we're going to see this shift to farmer empowerment so that recognizing that the farmers are the ones that ultimately make the decisions about operations on their farm, and supporting them in that work would be the public policy goal, the goal that we would, as the county, would be focusing on. And then recognizing what the outcomes will be. So not just doing things to do things, but focusing on the best outcomes. And to kind of get to that answer, I think that's something that's shifting beyond what's the best, how much can we get per bushel of corn and soybeans in Illinois. I think there's a recognition that we're going to see different ways of evaluating that over time. One that you've probably seen more of over time is regenerative agriculture and building soil matter, and in particular in Illinois, crop rotation, cover cropping, that there might be different ways to evaluate the soil than just the traditional bushels per acre, depending on practices. The second one is the carbon markets. So we've talked about that before at Ag Committee. One that comes to mind is Bayer. They have a climate program that specifically for Illinois and some of the other states. And they are looking at carbon sequestration and methods to operate within the private markets. And then same as the natural capital, we're going to see some of this is happening globally as well. We're going to see more and more of that happening once everyone is on the same page between government and corporations in terms of how all this is evaluated. Still early days on this, but I think what's most important for Kane right now is to understand what we have and different ways of measuring what we have here in order to know how to present ourselves, both as a combination of a county and then how individual farms can represent themselves. So these are the core highlights of the projects that I'm working on. I'm not going to be able to go through all of them today. There's a lot happening, but just give you a few highlights from those. But again, in the next couple of years, all of this is the anniversary of the program, thinking back, but also most importantly, thinking forward in terms of what do we want to have in terms of investment programs, policies. So I'll give you one example. When it comes to land use planning, of course, you know, I'm a land use planner first before an ag professional. And I'm always looking at things through that lens. This was a report done by American Farmland Trust a few years ago, but they look at land conversion, and this is a topic you were talking about earlier. And just to give you an idea of where, and they did this nationally. So this is kind of a look into Kane County. You'll see conversion from 2001, coincidentally, the year we started the program, through 2016. They are using the term nationally significant land, and this is the challenge. We have legislation that refers to land in one phraseology. We have them using it in a different way. We have NRCS, but I think you can pretty much guarantee that, except for the gravel pits and some other remote areas, we're all prime soils in Kane. And so what you see here is the conversion, and during that time period of almost 17,000 acres, but during that time, we're protecting about 6,000 acres. That's kind of a guesstimate. But that kind of gives you an idea, not that we're going to be able to permanently protect every acre of farmland, because it's a voluntary program, and there are many factors that go into this. And it's only one tool in the toolbox, because we have zoning, planning, and other tools. But just to kind of give you an idea that we have that pressure of both what they are calling urban conversions. So I might think of that as like municipal conversion, and then we have the low density conversion, which might be the development of unincorporated land into large acre. Yes.
Just a quick question. It's
Sure.
through 2016, so that red is expanded quite a bit.
Oh,
from
yeah,
last time.
right. This is just, so I think to that point, I think we should probably pick up 2016 and bring it through today so we could see the next 10 years. A lot happened, right, in the last 10 years. So we're not going, hopefully not going to see the same level of conversion, but let's find out. And we have excellent planners on staff, excellent GIS mapper, Catherine. You'll see some of our maps before. So I think that will be an activity that we'll look at as we move to our upcoming scenario planning, which I'll get to. So all this is important for that. I mean, not just doing it to do it. It would be interesting to know, but we want it to all come together into some knowledge for decision-making. We also want to look at the economic aspects of all this. I think we've talked about before, there's an analysis of what are the economic benefits in environmental, because those have economic as well, but those benefits to not converting land. And those have in the past been called cost of community services studies, police, fire, park district, et cetera. So we're going to look at that 20,000 acres or what it might be and say, you know, what was that cost to all of the existing taxpayers? What did that cost? So that people know before they make decisions. And again, a lot of those decisions don't rest with the county per se, but with your municipal partners. Here's an example of the kind of taking data and moving it into mapping that we'll be using. And it's so nice to look at a visual product instead of just like numbers and everything. And also to show how we're different at Kane County than other places. We're at the edge of a major metropolitan area, and we've got these prime soils and resources, farmers and farm families that are all facing this pressure. So, you know, how do we look at that data? And Catherine was able to create a map that shows using color gradation, which I love, to show our existing land use. This is where we are today and where that agriculture remains in terms of by township. So we can see, you know, where we have a very small amount, and then we could see our heaviest ag land use in Caneville and Virgil townships. That's that dark reddish color there. And we have the next step of map that shows population with this, but that we'll save that for as we get into a little further detail for you. But I think it's really good to see her creativity applied to some of these numbers to get a visual. And in my land transfer navigator training, which was very intense and very involved, along with what I was already working on, outreaches to the farm families and the farm businesses, and also finding out what they need to be able to continue to sustain and be viable and vital in the community. And so there's this balance of soil, and then there's the balance of with the people, because you can't look at one without the other. I give technical assistance to the easement holders and those waiting and those that are just very interested in the program. I've got a draft communication platform for the ag professionals like Kat and some of our other partners so that we can talk just amongst ourselves and share knowledge. And then a more public facing knowledge bank on generational transfer. We've got some seminars coming up that will be going out for bid in March to help us with healthcare and mental health RX for the professionals. More training. I attend lots of land transfer training, and then we'll be speaking at the conference and joining the panel that Kat mentioned, as well as Ellen will be on that panel as well on the growing resilience. We'll be looking I'll be talking about this specifically to specialty crop growers and their specifics. So one of the best things about the training is the fact that we go to different parts of the country. And this year we went to a farm called Full Belly Farm in California. Best takeaways, I mean, it's a long story. They have 400 acres. They're one of the first USDA organic farms in our country. So they've been doing this for quite a while. 400 acres, 80 employees, as Ellen mentioned. This is very intensive, right? So how did they stay afloat and what works for them? I would say two things: investment in those who farm the land and respecting and following the unique microclimate and natural resources. And in Kane, even though it seems like all our farmland is the same and all of our geography is the same, it's not, as you could start to see from that map. So you'll see some of our upcoming work that really focuses on specific geography, but also with those characteristics that make it unique, and then working with the farmers within that. As I mentioned before, we have two different aspects for procurement that will to support all this work that will be coming up in March. Some very specific things for procurement, and then some just a list of experts to help us walk through all of this. We'll be doing these type of activities all leading up to some scenario planning that will happen in September. And then a very special report, as I mentioned, that we'll be able to look at the economic value of easements, because I know that we want to look at everything through that lens as well. And so what does this all mean? I mean, it's fun to do small projects and analysis, but what will it lead to? We'll have this event, but in the end, it's going to lead and help us with choosing what kind of funding packages we want to continue the work that we've all just talked about: Cat, Ellen, what the staff's working on, ag easements, and Navigator. And hopefully we'll have a nice template for the next 25 years. Are there any questions? Okay.
No, Anita?
Okay, thank you very much.
Question. Yeah, you don't get to leave so early.
It's like, okay.
So, we have just put a sizable investment into our Cade County Economic Development group. And we do have a seat at that table with Steve Pitstick. And what other things should we be doing to make sure, as we talk about this economic development, that we don't forget about the incredible things that we're doing and the economic development in the ag community too? Because sometimes we talk about economic development and kind of leave that whole sector out. So
yeah, it's important to keep it in, because the unincorporated land of Kane County is primarily in farm and in production, in long-standing family. I think the best thing that you could do would be to invite Ellen and I to a meeting. I've had discussions with Steve over time about some different ideas, and I know Ellen has too, but I think we would love to come to one meeting, maybe just to kind of give an overview of ag from the economic lens, just to kind of bring everybody up to speed. And then we have a ready-made package of projects. Do we not? We do.
I'm sure you do.
That could use funding. So we can, as you know, we can spend money. You can see what Ellen just did with in a relatively short amount of time in terms of getting money out to farmers. I'm sure there's a list of smaller projects for money that needs to be spent soon, but also more of this longer range anticipation of where best to spend money. So yeah, we'd be happy to be there if you invite us.
Thank you. Don't be making me have to raise my hand during your meetings and talk, Anita, about the importance of agriculture. What are you guys doing during those meetings? Huh? All right, Mr. Penesis.
Yeah, one quick question. I know we're running
Data
have
centers.
places to go. But I'm a newbie on this committee and nice to meet you in person, by the way. James. Yes. Can you just give me like a Reader's Digest version? I don't understand what carbon sequestration is. How does that work?
Sure.
Maybe an example of what.
Well, I'll tell you what what Kane County has to offer when it comes to that. We have, I don't know, almost 8,000 acres of permanently protected land that will be holding in and help filtering carbon just through its existence, right? Carbon that's created from other sources where they need to compensate for that to meet their responsibilities, other businesses, other manufacturing businesses. And so our cluster of 8,000 acres of land, I mean, this can be done on an individual basis, but also as a group. Hey, we're doing this by just being there. And then the farmer landowner being paid for doing that. That's.
Yeah, I mean, Anita, you actually made me ask this question because I'm thinking economic
Made you?
development, right? Is there a way that? Yeah.
Their economic, I mean, I think that's where I was headed with the farmland as a asset beyond its productivity value. And that's something, I mean, I don't want to say it's new, but it's with the cooperation of these large corporations, many of them who are responsible for doing this excess, right, creation of carbon, but are looking for partners that are just by their existence offsetting it. Forestry is another example where they've been a little bit further ahead in terms of measuring, you know, how much protected forestry can offset this amount of carbon so that in their own private marketplace, they can, the company can pay the landowner for that forestry. So that's one example. And, you know, there's a lot of lessons learned from forestry, but when it comes to farmland, the difference is you have how that land has been cared for over the years is going to vary farm to farm. So coming up with a general baseline is kind of, and getting all the companies to agree to it. Now, maybe they don't have to agree. I don't know, but we're set in a different situation. And I would say ultimately my goal would be for the farmers in Kane to have many different ways to value their land and extract value from their land so that their incentive to keep their land in production and farming is there.
So maybe we need to start treating our sequestration like we treat our wetland mitigation banks and our
Very
streamlined
similar.
credit banks. Is that something that we can do locally or,
Good question.
but
Yeah.
you know, if you can, I mean, we could talk about this for hours, but if there's a way to start looking at it like that, if you could kind of brief us maybe offline so that we can start
Right.
looking at it and treating it like the resource that it actually is.
Right. And I think the best way for that right now is collecting the data about the cumulative data. In fact, I would love to get Mr. Shepro's map so we could also use that in our analysis. But I think the cumulative data of what Kane has to offer before going to the marketplace, this is something that Mark and I have been talking about for some time about getting private sector investment in, but the first step will be getting that, but there will be lots of different ways to do that. We don't want to just select one. And yeah, it's in process.
I think you have
So,
our support for that, and I'm sure
Thank
Mr.
you.
Shepard would be happy to share any
Yes.
information that he has, not during this meeting though.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right, thank
Okay.
you. All right, can we move on to Matt with his agricultural consultants RFQ?
Sure. I'm going to turn the floor over to Mark. He's got some updates on the RFQ process.
Certainly, yes. Well, first of all, I want to thank Matt for heading up the process. His update was going to be related to the next 3 resolutions that are in your packet. And we just bunched the RFQ process and the board approval process a little bit too close together. So those 3 resolutions are not ready for you this morning. They're not ready to go. So they will be back in a new form at your meeting next month. So with that, that's pretty much the update. Since these resolutions do not need to go forward, they could die for lack of a motion. Yes, have to call them, but they'll, no, I talked for Matt. Yeah,
All right. So we're
Next
ready to move
month.
on.
yes.
So we're going to move on to new business. I'm going to entertain a motion for a resolution authorizing the approval of qualified vendors to provide technical services for food and agriculture products in Kane County. Do I have a motion?
Will move.
No, to hear no motion. All right, it dies. Moving on to number B, resolution for authorizing a contract with Ellen Camps to provide food and agriculture project consultation services. Do I hear a motion? None heard? All right, the move that dies. Number C, resolution authorizing a contract with New Venture Advisors to provide food and agriculture project consulting services. Do I have a motion? Oh, that one dies as well. Okay, I guess you can bring those back to us at the next ag meeting. All right, may I have a motion to place reports on file? Yes, you may all do that. So
Alan
we-
requests unanimous consent to place our reports on file.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Hearing nothing, the reports are placed on file. Do we have need for executive session? No? Okay, wonderful. May I entertain a motion for adjournment?
Brought to make motion to.
Second,
Hennis a second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm outta here.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.